International Media TV. Television that listens to you.
Hi, I'm Johnnie Burrell. Welcome to the program.
I want to bring on now our next speaker and presenter. David Drummond is an unusual, the low-key man to be so brilliant and have so much to offer. So many years ago, when we first began in the Valley in 1999, David was a lawyer just out of school and was a spokesman for our work in the Valley when we were facing real stiff resistance at that time. He was our spokesman. And in his law firm, since he was low on the totem pole, he got a company that was low on the totem pole, just kind of throwaway company and put it in his lap to do something with them. The company was Google. He is now secretary to the board of Google. He grew with the company. He is one of the foremost authorities in the Valley of anybody. But a guy who's maintained his roots, his connection, he is a guy who deserves much respect. A real big hand for Attorney David Drummond. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, come on.
How you doing? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So I guess my bio didn't get quite updated for Reverend Jackson, but I now, after 15 years at Google, I work for a little startup called Alphabet, which 4 employees, so it's a really small operation, and we're trying to make it happen. So I'll let those of you who haven't been paying attention, I'll let you figure that out. But it's wonderful to be here and to see all of you getting together for what is such an important what is such an important cause, and it really is a cause, and it really is a movement to open up access to capital, to open up access to the opportunities that are out there in the tech world. The amount of wealth creation that has taken place in the last, just in the last 10 years, forget about the last 25 or so years, which is the time that I've been in Silicon Valley, has been amazing, and it is it is now the time for that to be opened up to everybody, for all the talent to have an opportunity to participate and to be involved in this wave, this digital wave and this technology and innovation wave that's sweeping the world. So I commend Reverend Jackson and Rainbow Push for doing this, for being the leader that they have been for many, many years. Reverend Jackson alluded to my being the only guy in Silicon Valley that Butch knew in 1999. So I was honored then, and I'm honored now to be involved in this extremely important effort. But I'm not here to make a speech. I'm here to talk about the brother who is going to make a speech. And I have really the honor and privilege to introduce to you Charlie Moore. Charlie is the founder and CEO of Rocket Lawyer. Rocket Lawyer is an amazing startup that is revolutionizing my profession, used to be my profession really, the legal profession, taking technology to make legal services accessible to many, many more people. This is something that's long, long overdue, and I'm going to let him tell you about that. But I've known Charlie for a very long time, over 20 years. I met him when I was a young lawyer at a big law firm called Wilson Sonsini down in Silicon Valley. Charlie was getting his law degree across the bay at Berkeley and was what they call summer associates. And I was assigned to be his summer mentor at the law firm, and that's how we got together and bonded and became friends since. Charlie did graduate from law school, of course, went on and practiced law for a while in Silicon Valley with a great firm at the time called Venture Law Group, and there he sort of, he was involved in all aspects of startups and putting them together and working with the founders and so forth. And unlike me, and some other folks who sort of stayed in this law business and sort of, grinded away for many years, Charlie actually saw the light. And the entrepreneurial bug that was already in him was, sort of sparked. And he decided to become an entrepreneur and became really a serial entrepreneur, which has brought him to this point with Rocket Lawyer. I am pleased to say that I'm a member of Charlie's board, and so I'm a little biased here, but it's a fantastic company. I'm also pleased to say that GV, which is formerly known as Google Ventures, which I'm the chairman of, is also an investor in Rocket Lawyer. So we really believe that big things are going to happen with this company. Charlie, I can think of no better person to talk to you about the opportunities, the challenges of entrepreneurship for people of color, and the challenges we have around diversity, access to capital, and most importantly, to talk about the solutions that we can maybe think about creating to make sure that we create more value and more value for all. So with that, I bring you Charlie Moore.
Thanks, David.
Got it, man. Watch out.
Yeah, watch out. Watch that stuff. Well, thank you, David. It's always a pleasure. I was here last year as well, and was here in 1999. Makes me think about Prince when Reverend Jackson really came out and started shaking things up during the first internet revolution. And so, Reverend Jackson, I applaud you because you've been here when we needed you, and we certainly need you here now. I also thank David. David has been a friend for 20 years. I don't think he knew that when I was a summer associate that was a lifetime commitment, but he's honored it, and I'm really honored to be your friend. Speaking of Prince, I'm a huge Prince fan, and I grew up listening to Prince. And one of his songs, he wrote, soldiers are a marching, writing brand new laws. That's free. And so, if Prince meant something to you too, maybe it's a sad time and a little moment of silence. Because inspiration comes from all sorts of places, and inspiration and creativity is really what Silicon Valley is all about. Rocket Lawyer is a patented invention. So I'll tell you a little bit about Rocket Lawyer, and then I'm going to talk about some more general themes that have, I think, helped to guide me and people that I admire, and there are many. So about Rocket Lawyer is a patented invention that enables millions of people around the world to create legal documents in the cloud. Increasingly, that involves more than half of our engagement and traffic is mobile now. So creating legal documents in the cloud with the assistance of licensed attorneys and also helping people to resolve disputes. So that was our original invention. Today, I'm very humbled and proud that we have over 14 million users of Rocket Lawyer. We are a global company with about 200 employees. We operate in the United States, in the UK. We have office in Mexico as well, and are expanding in other countries. And the reason why we're able to do that is because this is a technology platform that enables attorneys to add content to the platform, to keep the content up to date. We can and do create and maintain legal documentation in Mississippi and in Tennessee and California, but also in Yorkshire and Leeds and Scotland. And the reason for that is, again, this user-generated content approach that we took to the legal system. Now, our mission is to increase access to justice. You know, law is one of the biggest markets in the world. There's almost $1 trillion of legal fees generated around the world every year. But like medicine, law has a donut hole. Rich folks can pay expensive lawyers, the kind of lawyer that, quite frankly, David was and I was before we left our law firms. Lawyers who charge literally today thousands of dollars per hour for their time. So rich folks have lawyers like that, and poor people, not enough, but poor people who are accused of crimes can get an attorney provided for them by the court, and some poor people in many countries around the world have access to legal aid. And in fact, we have partnerships with legal aid here in the Bay Area, in Los Angeles, the American Bar Association, and others trying to actually attack that issue of legal aid for truly poor people. But over 1.5 billion people in the middle and entrepreneurs around the world really are priced out of the legal system. So the real mission of Rocket Lawyer and our purpose is to use technology to make the law affordable first and simple for people. We have to make it simple and provide tools to attorneys, like one of our innovations is you can ask your lawyer a 600-character question on your phone and get a 1,200-character answer from a lawyer. If they didn't give me the hook in a little bit, I would be up here all day because I'm a lawyer and I like to talk. And so one of the things that we do for lawyers is we make it more efficient, and we tell them you can stop talking now. You only owe a 1,200-character answer. That is a really effective on-ramp to legal services. As a matter of fact, the majority of people who use Rocket Lawyer have never hired a lawyer before, ever. So we also talk about solving this and serving this latent demand for legal services. Now, how many entrepreneurs are in the room? Quite a few. So most of our business comes from helping people start businesses and create contracts for their businesses. So we help people with these really hopeful things like starting a business, but law is not only hopeful. We help people with tragic things too, like starting a business. And so whatever you need, whenever you need to turn to somebody, the last thing I'll say about Rocket Lawyer for the time being is we enable you to make your problem our problem and go from there. Now, we have been really blessed, more so, and I take it as a responsibility, that we have had access to capital, but it has not been easy. This week, we also lost another Silicon Valley a Silicon Valley legend, another legendary person besides Prince. We lost Bill Campbell. I met Bill actually many years ago, and then I re-engaged with Bill as a result of attending a conference that Google Ventures hosted. And one of the things that Bill taught me in conversation was about the importance of durability. So there are 3 characteristics of enduring companies that I started thinking a lot about, and I've tended lately to talk a lot about these characteristics internally in our business as we have driven to profitability in our business and to continue to grow the business at scale and publicly. And so these are the 3 characteristics that I've seen enduring companies exhibit. One is they're solving a big problem. I just talked about the big problem of 1.5 billion people being priced out of justice. 2, they're good stewards of capital. And we're seeing right now another sort of rethinking of the value proposition of startups. I've seen 4, this is the 4th one in my career. A couple of 3-4 years ago, it was growth at all costs, and truly at all costs. And there was a lot of talk about unicorns and companies striving for $1 billion valuation. Well, Warren Buffett said the market is a voting machine in the short term, but it's a weighing machine in the long term. And I've experienced that myself. Rocket Lawyer grew 100% year over year for 4 straight years, was the fifth fastest growing software company on the Inc. 500 in 2012. But we were losing money as well, and our investors knew that at the time. We made a decision that we were going to be the kind of company that could survive the weighing machine. And we made that decision about 3 years ago. As a result, we are very close to profitability now. We've taken tens of millions of dollars off of our burn rate, and the company top line is still growing, and I'm about as proud of that as anything that I've done in my career. And the last one, so solve a big problem, good stewards of capital. The last one is commitment to a shared purpose, commitment to a common purpose. That commitment to a common purpose at our company is this donut hole I talked about. It's access to justice. And it turns out the best people I've ever hired and the people who are the most productive, happy people in the company are the people who share that purpose. They want to be able to say that that is their life's work too. The first person I ever hired still works at Rocket Lawyer, and he and I have been on this journey together for several years now. And so that commitment to purpose, each of these 3 things is something that I look for in companies that I partner with, companies that I want to study, and I think companies to be invested in. Now, perhaps the most important reason that I'm standing here as the founder of a growing global technology company backed by institutional capital is that myself and our other nearly 200 employees, as I mentioned, are standing on the shoulders of giants. Reverend Jackson, David Drummond, but also Larry Sonsini. David mentioned that we both worked at Wilson Sonsini, myself very briefly, but Larry was a mentor to me at Berkeley Law. Larry was a mentor to me at Berkeley Law. Other people, like Josh Green, Harry Bremen, who was a mentor to David as well, all of these people have helped us to get to where we are. As I wrap up, I'll talk about investors. So Rocket Lawyer has had a series of very committed investors that we are delivering a return for. People like Robert Smith, who some of you may have heard of, was one of my first investors in the company and has already, on paper, gotten a great return from his investment. But others like David Hornick at August Capital and Melissa Daniels at Morgan Stanley have helped the company through high growth, a path to profitability, and soon, I think, an opportunity for an exit. And so the question is, why aren't there more Rocket Lawyers? And I guess that's the question I'll leave with you again as I wrap up. I don't know the answer to that question. I've been doing this for 20 years, and there are a precious few only venture-backed companies founded by women, founded by minorities, people of color. But I'll tell you what, one of the things that I think, being optimistic, that is going to help the next generation is for those of us who've grown our businesses to a certain scale to continue to win, to continue to succeed. I appreciate all the help that we've gotten along the way, and fully expect Rocket Lawyer to be one of those businesses that is enduring. That's my life's work, that's our team's life's work. And I think by doing so, we can sort of show other entrepreneurs how it's done, and also investors that, as Prince said, we never meant to cause you any trouble. I only want to see you laughing in the purple rain. Thanks.
His name is Rodney Williams. He is the CEO and co-founder of Listener, which is a new age automative digital auditory device. And he's going to talk more about his successes, his path, his progress, and his future, because he's doing phenomenal work. As he comes to the podium, put your hands together and welcome Mr. Rodney Williams.
Hello. I'm gonna use this one. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Rainbow Push, for inviting me to tell my story. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I tend to be a little soft-spoken unless it's after 8, when I tend to get a bit excited. My goal is to really just share my story. My second goal is to also show you and talk to you about what we've created with Listener. And hopefully, if that doesn't inspire or get Google to call me back, then I'll continue to have a good day. So a little bit about my background. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland. As the environment in Baltimore as you would think. But I got lucky, and I went to a really great high school that produced the #1, I think they have more Fortune 100 CEOs than any high school in the country. This is a private school called Calvert Hall. I played football and I ran track. But that was the first time that I saw this group of people that were creators and builders, and they built products and they built things. And I was inspired by that. I then went off to college, didn't really play football much, but I wanted to separate myself from my peers. And I also wanted to learn. I didn't want to be, I felt that college was about learning. And I wanted to flex that muscle as much as possible. So I did a couple things. I did 2 degrees in my 4 years undergrad. I then did 2 more masters the next 2 years. So I actually went to 2 different universities at the same time. One of them being Howard University, where I got my MBA. And during that time, I worked at the Department of Energy, and I worked in business development. There's also another thing. I wasn't great at math, but I was a great thinker, and I wanted to help understand the value proposition of technology. I always felt that I was attracted to Steve Jobs on stage, and instead of him, talking about an MP3 player like a mechanical object, he talked about it as 1,000 songs in his pocket. And I felt like if I could articulate the value proposition of a product or a message or a goal or purpose, why couldn't you build a product with that goal and purpose in mind? So that led me at Lockheed Martin, where I looked at government technology and tried to articulate it to mass market usage. Eventually, I met someone at Procter & Gamble who brought me to Cincinnati, Ohio when I was 24 years old, post-business school. So I did all those degrees and was done. And I started as assistant brand manager on Pampers. So I think that I'm kind of cool, and I was like, really? But he had an idea, and this idea, and it was a similar idea. I had the same idea. I felt a couple things were true. I felt like I was a millennial, and I felt like I was the expert at technology and how you should use it. Number 1, I just did. Number 2, at the time, new moms in particular, are the first to go online and say something or do something. So that brand was the most progressive brand in terms of digitally how it spoke to its consumer base. Okay, I can buy the argument. So within 2 years, wrote the social playbook for P&G. Brought that first brand. That was P&G's first brand that went on Facebook, went on Twitter. We won numerous awards. I got Ad Age, Top 40 Under 40 by 26. And during that time, I wrote 3 digital patents. So they literally would take me and sit me down with the engineering team, and they would bring my ideas to life. I learned so much during that time. Number 1, I figured out that I could be an inventor. They all became published. One of them is making P&G upwards of $60 million a year. My paycheck didn't increase much. So more of that story is really the beginning of where my company Listener began. But I learned a lot. I loved learning. I was passionate. And I wasn't afraid to take risks. I wasn't afraid to challenge my bosses and the people that were around me to think and do things differently. And I kind of had a chip on my shoulder. I always did. Because it was also a moment that I no longer became inspired by others. I no longer became inspired by the guy on television or the song. I became inspired by what I saw in the mirror, because I was happy compared to where I came from. So with this logic, I believed in me before anyone else believed in me. And I had a really bold idea, and it really came from, as a marketer, the holy grail of marketing is, could we understand who's in front of a particular piece of advertising in real time? Could we understand who's in a retailer in real time? And I had this idea of, could we leverage sound to understand where we are, what we're doing, and who's there? Very simply. And as a marketer, I created a name first, nice, pretty presentation, but I also began to learn. And I began to learn that our smartphone devices can hear audio above our natural hearing level. And what if I could take Morse code, or essentially what you hear with a fax machine or a modem? What if I could just take it and push it above the audio spectrum? Could I transmit data over audio that you can't hear? That was really it. Let's fast forward. I took that idea on a startup competition called the Startup Bus. My best friend was a startup guy. He joined my team. We walked across the hallway and found our CTO at the time. We went on the startup bus. We won. This was March 2012. 3 months later, we raised $850,000 out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and I began working. P&G was probably one of our biggest supporters. They gave us free rent for 8 months, and we started building Listener. I'm going to dive into what Listener is today. I mentioned a couple things. We send data over audio. What we've created is just high-frequency audio that can transmit small packets of data every second. It's really efficient in terms of battery usage. Its detection time is 0.6 seconds. And in close proximity, we can transmit up to 2 megabytes. It's extremely, extremely flexible. So the type of things that we can enable are, in the beginning, they were all marketing things. We could literally play our tones over their speaker system and trigger different messaging to different people in the room based on where you are, completely independent of Wi-Fi or data connectivity. That's important, right? As a consumer, there's more and more devices that need connections. There's more and more marketers that want to talk to that brand, and there's more and more consumers that want to interact with each other, and it's always going to be a limited resource in terms of data connectivity through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or the laundry list of other ways to connect devices. So that's what we started. We're doing those things in stadiums and venues and retailers. We're actually live today on our first national network, which is Discovery Channel. We're essentially putting audio Bluetooth in TV shows. What is that allowing Discovery to do is have second screen interactivity that's by far better than anything else. So I'll explain that. If you guys are all familiar with like Shazam, it records a piece of audio, checks the server, does an audio match, and then responds. Because we don't ever have to make a server call to tell the device what to do, we can produce interactivity synchronous. Everything can be offline. So, great. We're doing great marketing things. We won great awards. We were CNBC Disruptor. We won a Gold Lion. Luckily, and I thank Intel, we made CNBC Disruptor at number 12, above Slack and Spotify and all the companies you read about. We were the least funded. We were the only ones out of the Midwest. And we didn't have any San Francisco funders. I don't know why they looked past us. I don't know why. I always thought we were doing something innovative. I believe, without a doubt, we are the most innovative company in this world. And that's something our developers and our team walk around every day. There was something else that was inspiring. Google actually did this. Google launched something called Google Tone, and it broadcasts an audible tone that transmits a web page from your device. And in the article, it says, we tried to do this inaudible, but couldn't. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting in Cincinnati, and I'm like, so, number one, thanks Intel. Since Intel made the investment last year, August to now, if you talk about the core of a protocol, we have tripled our data throughput. We have doubled our reliability. We have also made it encrypted, and we can now generate tones on device, and it can be bidirectional. So what we've now opened the ability to do is point of sale payments, because now we can actually transmit encrypted pieces of data over audio. So you walk up to a point of sale system, and instead of investing in NFC or any other additional hardware to drive that data transmission, we can do this all through audio, which is, again, significantly more efficient from a price conscious and all the list of things. When you go to our office now, we don't have RFIDs opening doors. We have tones that are singly authenticated by a particular user. So you walk up to a door, you actually press a thumbprint on your phone, it broadcasts a tone, and then opens your door. And I'm going to say one thing. What you're seeing is us going after that goal and that vision of touching and connecting consumers in more places than ever before. When you have a flexible technology at audio, you can do almost anything. Thank you, and that's Listener.
Rodney Williams, everybody. Let's hear it from him again. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we have a tribute to Hank Williams, founder of Platform. I ask that you will kindly welcome to the stage a gentleman who is going to present this tribute today, none other than Mr. Ty Ahmad. Ahmad Taylor. Put your hands together. Ty Ahmad Taylor, CEO of THX.
Hello and good afternoon, and thank you all for having me. Very briefly, I was born in San Francisco and raised in the town, so I'm local, and so I welcome you also to the Bay Area, for the conference. I met Hank in January of 2012, but he had a life before that. Hank Williams is the founder of the platform. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Hank's legacy, about what he did with the platform, and what the platform is going to continue to do. Hank was one of the very first executives to work in Silicon Valley, and in 1998 he ran a company called Click Radio, which is an internet radio company. And because of bandwidth at the time, what it did is it would download files in a secure way so that you could play music on your computer. He ran that company successfully and was one of the few companies to actually have deals with most of the major record labels in the late 90s, so he's very forward-thinking. As we think about the Spotifys and companies like Pandora now, Hank was very much at the cutting edge in terms of doing what he could in that space. So he had a 20-year legacy. He took some time off and pursued independent projects, but then resurfaced again to form CloudCo in 2008, which was an information organization management company, taking all of your cloud material and making it uniformly searchable and distributable. He sort of gained a national stage for that in 2011 when he was part of Soledad O'Brien's look into how people participated in the innovation economy, and particularly how African Americans participated in the innovation economy. Hank was the oldest person in an accelerator called the NUMMI Accelerator. It was formed by Angela Benton and Wayne Sutton, and it was filmed here in the Bay Area in 2011, but he gained national fame as being the head of Reason. Shortly thereafter, as I said, I met Hank in person in 2012, and one of the things that struck him was the lack of change that he had seen in Silicon Valley from the late 1990s to 20 years later. And so he thought about creating an environment where people who are underrepresented in what we'll call the innovation economy would have access to that economy. And so with that, he formed the platform. For some people, it's a multicultural TED. For others, it's a way to get people in high school and college interested in STEM-based educational platforms. For other people, it's an opportunity to network to grow the entire environment for the way that we have access to the information economy if you don't look like everybody else who's participating in the information economy. The platform had its inaugural event in 2012 at MIT. Nicholas Negroponte was a part of it. My aunt, Shahara Ahmad Llewellyn, who came after Hank but was a co-founder, also played a role. And by all the attendees said that it came across quite fantastically. The last 2 years, it's taken place at Morehouse in Atlanta in October. So in October of 2014 and October of 2015. And at that time, the attendees marveled at the depth and breadth of knowledge of the speakers on stage. Hank was the MC, and he was responsible for the bulk of the attendees being there and for the sort of well-oiled nature of the event. Sadly, after last October's platform event, Hank fell victim to what looked like the flu but turned into a heart infection, and he unfortunately passed away in November of last year. And the mission that he was trying to serve with the platform is going to continue, which is essentially providing access for underrepresented minorities in the innovation economy, which is the fastest growing sector of the US economy, as we all know for those of us who are based here in Silicon Valley. And so what you're doing here is very important in terms of continuing his legacy, and his legacy will continue as he leaves behind his wife and his daughter from a platform perspective in terms of providing greater access. So I'm reminded of somebody else who recently passed away also from a heart infection, which is to say Prince passed away. Prince and Hank almost have nothing in common. But there's a thought or a rumor that Prince has a vault full of songs that he's never released. And everybody's wondering, is that vault going to surface? Are we going to get access to all of those songs? And so what I would say to you is the opportunity here today is Hank's legacy is a vault of promises that he's worked to deliver, that we can all deliver upon in terms of hiring people, speaking to young folks, inspiring in them the opportunities that exist here in New York, in Seattle, in Los Angeles, in Austin, and other centers of innovation around the world to actually participate, major in computer science, work hard, network, and push forward to solve customer problems, which is really what we're talking about. I was honored to be a part of a smaller group with Hank in New York that was focused around African American CEOs who were in the city. There were 9 of us that we knew about in all of New York in 2012 and 2013. And so I set up a mailing list, and we all communicated with each other. We spoke about funding and opportunities. And that's the same sort of things that you yourselves can do here, both at scale and amongst smaller groups. And so what I would sort of beseech you to do is to continue the effort that Hank put forward, to attend the platform. It'll take place next year. It's taking a hiatus this year as they look for a new leader to fill Hank's very large shoes, and continue to attend conferences like this and engage in real actionable change. So I would ask you for just 10 seconds of silence to remember his legacy, and then I would also ask you to work hard to sort of create your own vault that can be exposed in the near future. Thank you. And now 10 seconds, I was cut off. Now 10 seconds of silence if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Have a great conference.
Thank you so much for that very moving and heartfelt tribute. As you continue to enjoy your lunch, we're going to bring on some entertainment as we have had this wonderful experience today in the conference and talking about change agents, and talking about differences in our world. We are going to hear from those that are on the forefront of being the voice as well as a visible entity that gives a witness to what it means to be about a call to action. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Amari, AMC Chapman, and Jahi with a call to action. Come on, put your hands together as they prepare to take the stage.
1, 2.
Check.
Good afternoon, everybody. Watch that monitor. First of all, we want to say to Reverend Jesse Jackson, thank you very much for having us. We had an excellent time with him yesterday, and we're glad to be here today. Brother Bonk Olafemi, Brother Sizwe, Brother Amari, and myself, we all are a part of the Office of African American Male Achievement. Want to shout out Chris Chapman and Brother Jerome and Bobby, our whole team, Gerald in the back. We hail from Oakland, California. We realize that it is important to change the narrative. we want to change the narrative by using music and media. And one of the things we've done is that we have a documentary called Kingmakers. If you go to kingmakersofoakland.org, you are able to see episodes from our documentary and changing the narrative and lifting up our facilitators and brothers that's in Oakland that's doing the right thing. So if you want to go to kingmakersofoakland.org, you'll get a chance to hear and see some things. But right now, we want to do a song for you called Call to Action. Let's go. How y'all feeling out there today, huh?
Hey, hey.
Yeah, we gonna party real quick.
Hey,
Yeah.
we
Kingmakers. Woo!
I am because we
Major.
Exporting shifts in youth like Morpheus.
Unplug.
Upload the brotherhood code.
Strength in numbers.
Many hands are lighting your load. Writing these scrolls of brothers known to tighten your fro. King sharpen king thing, ring king
Get the O.
Narrative shift, imperative we see in our glow. We never will if we don't believe we
Can grow.
Reflect royalty wherever we go. Protect
Greatness.
Why you think they trying to get Tutankhamun a facelift? Why you think we only get Grammys when on a slave ship?
Come on. Why is genocide being used in black entertainment?
Basement, yo, do I really need to explain it? My village in the pit of these slums you call it tainted. School board meetings with language
Let's go.
rearranging. Soldiers in the field like Chris, bro, we made.
Call to action, heed the call. Who we are you. What we do, making kings, building dreams. We live in proof, reaching for the sky. Staying on our grind. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Open up your eyes. Call to action, heed the call. Who we are you. What we do, making kings, building dreams. We live in proof, reaching for the sky. Staying on our grind. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Open up your eyes. It's all about transformation. You see, we lead the nation. We kings. We co-create and build a world. We not waiting. Responsible behaving. Class a safe haven. Profession on our layman. Results daily amazing. Love, wisdom, and patience. You see how we operating. Empower your brothers. History, no enslavement. The body's all arrangement. Early hitting the pavement. Beating negotiation. Represent black. Our team, nothing to play with. We break free from the matrix. From boy to manhood. We covering all the stages. Website got the latest. Symposium showcases. Run up in the brotherhood. Lace up your shoelaces. Call to action, heed the call. Who we are you. What we do, making kings, building dreams. We live in proof. Reaching for the sky. Staying on our grind. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Open up your eyes. Call to action, heed the call. Who we are you. What we do, making kings, building dreams. We live in proof. Reaching for the sky. Staying on our grind. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Open up your eyes. Young king, grab a book. What they waiting for? Knowledge what they hate you for. Never let them see you low. Always reaching for the sky. Pulling up your pants, you gotta dance. You want that natural high. Celebrating life. The golden prize, reflecting your light. When it's right, putting in that work. Going hard in the pain for the grace that you deserve. And I'm saying what I'm saying cause I acknowledge your work. Brotherhood on the verse. Marching on the 15th. Salute to all the warriors. Shout out to my young kings. History in the making. We are not forsaken. God's in the flesh. Resurrection of that patience. Dedication to that truth. I'm asking who are you? Who are you? We the truth. We the truth. We the truth. We the truth. Hands up. 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 Call to action. Heed the call. Who we are you. What we do. Making keep building dreams. We live in proof. Reaching for the sky. Staying on our grind. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Open up your eyes. Call to action. Heed the call. Who we are you. What we do. Making kings, building dreams. We live in proof. Reaching for the sky. Staying on our grind. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Open up your eyes.
I'ma give to you what I think defines greatness. Sitting in the class surrounded by black faces. Never have to worry about my teacher being racist. Walk in, listen to something that's on my playlist. Hey King, what's up? Excuse me, sir, what? Never been addressed as royalty before. Showed up, we built the empire like a shogun. Everything we do is graduated from the flow up. Remember when they used to laugh at us being toned up? Counselors don't have your back, they only showing fake love. Grades, they only interest with influence our decisions. How we supposed to trust you? You don't know how we been living. Yeah, get about my face. Jog in the class just so I'm not late. The first place to say I'm great for them gay. Looking out my brothers acting like go to states.
Action, heed the call. Who we are you. What we do. Making kids in the dreams. We live in proof. Reaching for the sky. Staying on our grind. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Open up your eyes. Heed
what we do. Making dreams with the dreams, we live in proof.
Yeah.
Reaching for the